What's up, my Simperonis? Today we got a Legion game. Let's get right into it. Playing on Kashyyyk. If I go back here, you can see ATST Blizzard Force or Tempest Force. My bad. I am running a little bit of a cheesy list. Commandos, new commandos, R2, Chewie, Yoda. Basically, entire play here is objectives. I have a really skewed objective deck. He's coming in at 800. I'm coming in at 788. So it's my deck. Right now I need to remake it because unfortunately Legion HQ, while it looks way better than Tabletop Admiral in my opinion, uh, it struggles with new units being added into it. So I just quickly remake my list, and now we're good to go. Looking at the flop for my battle deck, I'm a little nervous for key, key positions because if you look at the center here, center KP, and ATST can just put its ass right on top of it, and I just can't touch the objective. So that's what I'm really worried about. So I really want to ban KP. That's the goal, but I kind of just skipped over the deployment, which is fine. I'll zoom in here very shortly. Oh, never mind. Sorry, he's just looking at it. I forgot. Right side. If we look at the top right here, I know this is hostage. It just like got deleted. It's all good. Then next to advanced, I believe that is major, if I'm not mistaken. And then the bottom green is clear. Basically, I just don't want KP here. And I would love to do Limviz, but that's just going to be an auto ban from him. So I'm just going to force that out of him. First go, you're going to see. Because he has really long range, I have very short range. So I'd love to be able to knock his shot. Going to skip ahead here. I end up banning KP, as you see, because I don't want to play having to shoot his ATSTs, because if I go KP, I have to rush his objective, and while it's very possible to do it with Yoda and Commandos, I have to go through ATSTs to do that, and I'm not willing to do that. And I also do have R2, and I can do the plays there, but then I still have to win on kill points, and this list doesn't want to win off kill points. Just gonna skip ahead. Need to play our VAPs, very safe. Supply drops right next to it as well. I think I'm taking a dookie here, because I had to take a poo. Let me just skip ahead. Alright, I deploy my supply drops. Zoom out a little bit. Deploy my side supply drops right next to the VAPs, and then I placed one where I wanted to put Yoda, which is right up here by this tree. But I didn't end up ever grabbing that one, but you'll see that. He's right now just pre-measuring his ATSTs because like they're their only thing that he really needs to focus on. Which is fine. We'll just skip ahead. Basically, what my idea here is I just want to touch my VAPs, but turn one. Like I want them done ASAP. So that's the goal. Get the core on the back objective, then get my commandos to touch the other thing. VAP up top. You're gonna see here, I should have placed my commando token a lot earlier. And yeah, he played these scouts really aggressively. I think he should have played them a lot more passive. There's just no reason for them to be there. He wins on draws, so he doesn't need to be aggressive with anything but his ATSTs, and he knows that I kind of can't kill his ATSTs, because I have very minimal impact besides my Plum Commandos. But keep skipping, placing my Clone Commando tokens down, which just give them critical and search to block. I should have this token right here. I should have put it much closer to my spawn. It's gonna come and kick me in my ass later on, but this should have been a little closer defensively. It didn't need to be all the way out there because I'm just camping around this rock for a lot of the game. But Yeah. Okay, so I also have two strategies here. Uh, I'm gonna tap my Vaps, and either playing this list, I can either touch his Vaps with Yoda, or I win off Secret Mission with R2. So these are the two plans going around my head. If you take a look here, if I have R2 right here, I can just speed one around this rock. And since I have Blast Off, which is R2D2's 1 pip, which makes him speed 2, I can use Yoda to guidance. She's now here. Then speed 2, secret mission, just like that. So that's one of my plays that I'm wondering or wanting to do. My second play is I charge in with size matters sometimes, touch the VAP, and once I touch his VAP, I win the game because I touch it turn 6, and there's just nothing he can do. And that's what uh, those are my plans. So right now I'm just deciding where I want to put my last commando token. I should have put the one that's up way more further up, just because while they're only range 1 in a circle, to get the benefits, if you put two next to each other, it's basically covering range 4. So I just needed to put that one up more, which is fine. It wasn't such a big deal. I just needed to do that. Um, I'm just deploying now because he also has 7 acts to place because he had to reinforce these. So I just ended up throwing Yoda and Chewbacca right there, which was a fine spot for them. And then for pips, turn 1, what I think you can play is either Size Matters Not, which is Yoda's 2 pip, or 1 pip, or R2's 3 pip, which I decide is just better to do. Reason you can play Yoda's 1 pip is you can do the double guidance, but I think it's just better here to play the R2 3 pip, get the speed 1, touch the VAP, turn 1, and then you can hit the VAP, and then you can simply just move away, which is what ends up happening. But you're gonna see I take so much attrition from the ATSTs. He just kind of throws them in. But as you see, these scouts were just way too aggressive, and I think he moves them back, which ends up being his downfall because he actually moves them back up. And you'll see that because it does get pretty intense. But the turn 1 is literally just me claiming and then playing super passively. So we'll just skip ahead. Okay, he's just going with his core. I'm just going with my commandos, moving him back. This ends up being a real pain in the ass, me cohering this guy here. I shouldn't have done that. So this is going to be the first shot of the game. Moves his ATST up and shoots. You can see 3 models. It's just us determining. So he had a pretty big roll here. Just put it in the armor. I don't end up spending my shield because I know I'm just going to have to throw it on the armor. If I was range 1 of this token, I wouldn't have had. I would have probably spent the shield and saved my armor. But because I wasn't range 1 of the token, I ended up having to use my armor because I didn't want a shield. While it was a pretty pathetic roll on my end, I just didn't even give it a chance. And even if I did spend the shield, I probably it's just not worth it. Putting him on the other side of the VAP here because I want to get the supply drop. I'm also going to cohere. You're going to see some really weird cohesion. Like throwing them out is I don't know the exact rules with Tempest. Like I said, this is my first time playing. I don't know where he can put the reinforcement. I'm pretty sure it's just like rapid, where it's range 2. So I'm just spreading them out so they can't deploy like next to my leader, so they can't shoot. Hopefully, is the goal. When I look in the box, I think, not to be super based, but targeting scopes or whatever that one's called, the marksman one. I think it's rangefinder or whatever. I have no idea. I think it's so overrated. It is really bad. On units that aren't designed to have marksman and factions that don't have marksman, they're just so useless because you don't have the aim generation for them. This is me messing up. I shouldn't have even bothered rewinding because I just made it into a different state, which was fine. Just equipping that. So this is another ATST shot. This one's at range 4, so he doesn't get as much dice as he did before. Why aren't you skipping? I want to see the movement. Why aren't you going back? Alright, so back to this. I'm just gonna let it play out, but double move, get the supply drop. He goes with his ATST here. He has to do a speed 1 because he can't do a speed 2. He decided. But just gets range 4, takes a shot. Check LOS. Beautiful. Good start to him. I don't think he ends up using his second aim when he should have, but that's okay. Save it. Put it on the shields. We're good. Go to stack, core. We're just going to end up double moving. Or actually, we improv here. Unfortunately, we just get core again. I think I want the commandos to try and avoid a shot from the ATSD. But we just double move. Again, do this weird coherency. Try and make it so his scouts can't get anywhere good. I think I pull, yeah, Hollow, which does come into play later in the game. Hollow, if you're playing Gar, I almost think it's more worth it than Bacta. Like, it's so good. Here, I have a quick debacle because I'm pretty sure it's labeled as impossible or impassable. But we end up just letting him do it because why not? I don't care. It's not too big of a deal. But ends up just double moving. Looking in the box, I think he gets back to here. And now it's my go. Oh no, he gets camo or precision scopes. So right now I'm debating if I want to shoot with Chewie, but remember that what was going through my head here is that Chewbacca is my entire play with the 2-pip. So I have 2 strategies. I can either play off of Secret Mission or I play off Chewbacca, and I decide it's much more worth it to just play safe with Chewbacca. So I just stand still, basically, and dodge. And he's empty at this point, so go with these guys. They just move back and recover. Or no, sorry. I actually go with Yoda here. Guidance my commandos to go back. Because I don't want to go with Chewbacca yet, because I'm wondering if it's worth it for my Chewbacca to just I'm trying to go with last with him basically. So he can do a shot. But I should have probably just gone with Chewie and moved him back because I'm pretty sure he takes damage here. I kind of made a mistake. but with Yoda, just guidance and dodge. He forgot to put his reinforcement order back. I asked him to resign here, but he decided not to, so we kept playing. He ends up just moving twice to touch the supply crate because he wants these guys to touch the evaporator. His entire bit, I don't think he realized that what I was trying to do is just win off objectives. He was trying to win off kill points, and acknowledging that he's gonna make a lot of misplays because he's just trying to kill shit because he doesn't think the game's gonna come down to objectives. But my entire play is I don't care if things die. The only things I care about dying are R2, Yoda, Chewie. Everything else can die. And the great thing about this is my list is based kind of off of Yoda barks, but with Yoda barks, I feel like I have no backline. So I have to keep everything as a ball. With this list, I feel like I can have my Chewbacca and Yoda go off, and I think the commandos are strong enough to fend off some things. So if I have playing recover and I wasn't able to get Yoda out after claiming an objective, I have the commandos to line back. So like a naked Maul can't just go in and kill my army because I have 3 squads of commandos. Like I feel confident enough, and also like if they have speeder bikes, I feel confident enough that they can survive long enough to win me the game. While my Yoda and Chewbacca do their own thing. And that's why I really like it. Also, having naked barks, I feel like you just lose against other speeder lists, so like Blizzard. So I just think commandos fill this slot so much better, especially with the infiltrate. You can do VAPs really easily because now you have more troopers, key positions. The scatter is super good because you can scatter. It's basically another force push if you're in the right position. Uh, and then you have recover with infiltrate, and it's just it's so good, so good. Go with these the C3PO. Just give these guys calculate the odds and just pass with their last. Nothing much they can do. So he gets to do a free speed 1 move because of his card, which is what he does. And I think he just aim shoots commandos. Right? I don't remember when the Chewbacca shot is, but he does shoot Chewbacca at one point. Maybe next turn. But it really hurt because again, if Chewbacca dies, my play with Yoda kind of dies too. I do have burst of speed, so it's not too bad, but it just requires much more late game play and having to play 1 pips and going first with Yoda, which I just don't want to do. So dodge and shield here. So I only take 1. These guys are range 1 of the token, but again, if it was just a little back, I could have played a lot more aggressively with my commandos, but right now, just moving with the core. These core don't need to touch the objective. He already placed his reinforcement in his back of his squad, so I just double move those guys up so I can try and get some cheeky fire supports maybe. Because while my goal is not to kill ATSTs, I might as well shoot them. There's enough of a threat here with commandos having impact 4 each because of their configs and critical. His ATSTs right now are sitting right on critical zones, and you're going to see I'm going to do a lot of damage to those puppies. I think I've actually already done 3 wounds to one of them. Yeah. I be I kind of skipped past it because I forgot, but I rolled 2 crits and 2 surges on with my clone commandos with the purple guys. Um, and then did pierce 1. He blocked 2, but it was okay because I just pierced 1. So end of the turn. I'm basically just trying to turtle till turn 6 right now. So just gonna end up playing Luminous here because there's not much I can do. Besides just turtle, maybe try and get some more natty crits against the ATSTs. Some ideas here are to guidance with Yoda, guidance the core to get range 3, and then I have a juicy fire support with either Chewbacca or Clone Commandos. Reading his card because I have no idea what it does. So I'm going first. Just giving everybody an order. I don't think those guys are actually range 3 of Yoda, unfortunately, but they're the only ones in the stack, so I might as well just give them orders. Also, they're not going to fire support, so putting my aims out for target 1. Dodge, aim, surges for Yoda. 2 surges for Chewbacca. I may put those out a little late, but don't know what I'm doing here. Definitely. So again, some ideas going through my head with my commandos. I believe I'm just going to recover, shoot, or shoot and dodge. Actually, I don't think those guys were the ones that shot. Full red. Oh, here's the roll. Yeah, okay. That's natural. Blocks 2. Takes 3. Spend their aim from target. Let's this guy's go. Yeah, big damage there. So here is the play where I'm like, that's not going to fit there. Because that ATST is right in the other ATST. That's just not allowed. He just needs to go like that, or doesn't end up coming into play ever. Like, this forced of a move doesn't end up screwing him over in the long run, but it's just inconvenient for him. Actually, I think he does have to do a really weird pivot later in the game, so I think this does end up screwing him a little bit. But this is why, like, when you play the game, you have to point out these things like, hey, you can't just do that, especially on tabletop, because there's some crazy stuff you can do. Yeah, this is the shot against Chewbacca, and this is me like, oh, are you really range 3? Oh, shoot. So it really sucks, the shot. Yeah, and it's, oh, yeah, then I do this on accident. So way I'm usually positioned, I'm usually on the other side since I'm blue player, so I just accidentally cleared his dice tray, thinking very poorly. We luckily have the log, and it ends up, pretty sure it actually rolls the right dice too. Let me take a look. But yeah, it was a juicy ass roll. He ends up full boating against Chewie here, so I have to spend dodges and cover. Yeah, so as you can see, amazing roll. And I accidentally clear it immediately. But yeah, this was juicy as fuck. Um, but yeah, he just ends up re-rolling a black and a white, which is what he should have been rolling anyways. But this was very silly mistake on my end. Yeah, and full boat. So drop 2 for cover, 2 for dodges, roll 5, and save 1, which is nice. So Chewbacca's now enraged, which is good. But also with the plays that I want to do with him, it's just not good. Not good. You're gonna see it come up next turn, but it's very bad. So going now. I believe I go with Chewbacca because I don't want to get shot again. He still has 2 ATSTs to go. He kills Chewbacca. It's not game, but it's not very good. So go Chewie here. I believe I shoot and then I move back. This is a little cheeky for me. He probably shouldn't have been able to fit there. But it's okay. Whatever. In real life, I push it a little bit. 2 crits. Too good to cover. Heavy. Unfortunately. That should have been 3 if it was out in the open. But I have an aim. Get another crit. It's been the aim from Yoda, by the way. So 3 wounds on his ATST. Pretty huge. Should not have spent that aim. That was very lucky I got the additional crit. Gonna skip ahead here. Just making sure I know what guns have been shot. Just doing that right now. Spending aims here. So as much as how lucky I've gotten with crits, it's kind of average for me to now blank out because same likelihood of doing crits is not pretty much like it just evens out. So I end up spending 2 aims here, not a single crit or a surge. So nothing with these clone commandos. They're kind of wasted as an act. That's what feels so bad about armor. The wasting, like it feels like all your units are just wasted if you don't roll a natty crit or a surge if they have critical. So he's just going with his core. He's moving him behind the ATST. He's really afraid of the commandos, and he just shouldn't be probably. He's respecting them a little bit too much. But he moves behind the ATST and taps the VAP, I'm pretty sure. Or he had a double move for that, I'm unaware. But all my configs are down because I'm taking another shot. And I spend my last aim, and nothing. And then just gonna move. Just move in cohesion because it's a difficult move. And that's them. So right now, this is like his major misplay. Is right here. He starts moving the scout team up, and all this does for me is it gives me a unit to engage because my opponent was unaware. But you can actually have your movement table off the edge of the table. So Chewbacca here can just basically ignore this impassable rock and just go run around. So that's my plan right now. I'm like, okay, this is where I realize secret mission is not going to work because his ATSTs are just going to keep coming forward. So I just have to force something. So I'm going to force with Yoda and get him on the VAP. So this unit's just gonna tap the last, or tap for the first time. Right now, just aiming up for, what's it called? Hollow projector. Try and get that order on either the core there or the clone commandos. Um, but touch the VAP, break it, finish off the condition because I used it twice last round. Just didn't delete it. This is me remembering, oh shoot, I have a condition right here. Go with the last core, they're just gonna tap and start moving up. Because like I said, I'm not gonna. My goal is not to win off kill points. I know it's not gonna work, so I have to win off secret mission um, or tapping his VAP. So I'm just trying to throw bodies at him now, trying to get an opening. So this is actually, so I said before that that was his big misplay, was moving up. This is the unit that lost him the game. This scout move. There's no reason to be up here this deep. The reason why he's doing this is he's afraid of my secret mission, and while he has a right to be, he shouldn't be this scared. And this ends up losing his the game, or losing him the game. And you'll see why. This is me like acknowledging this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna win the game. This core is just gonna move up shit to ATST. Nothing happens. We can just skip this part. Wow, I took 30 seconds to do a single move. I am a boomer. Holy. Oh, never mind. I got crit. This gets wounded too. So he's just gonna move up, and unfortunately, he has a shot on Yoda. He takes it, and it's tough, but uh, Yoda ends up being fine. But it really sucks that he got this shot off. Very easy shot to see too. I needed to uh, probably go with C3PO earlier and calculate the odds Yoda, so he's a dodge, and maybe he would have been scared to do this attack. But oof, that's not what you like to see. 6 saves. I don't want a Guardian because again, uh, if I Guardian, then Chewbacca is gonna be much more weak, and I want to play the Yoda 2-pip or the Chewbacca 2-pip. If I Guardian here, Chewbacca's already on 4 wounds. So if I play his 2-pip, he's probably going to take both wounds, let's be honest with ourselves. He's probably going to take 2 damage from the Guardian save. He's now at 6 out of 9, okay? I am in trouble if he's at 6 out of 9. Because when I play his 2-pip, Yoda can no longer perform moves. And I need Yoda to perform moves. Or I need Chewbacca to act like Yoda to perform moves, if you know what I'm saying. And when Chewbacca is super wounded, all he has to do is shoot Chewbacca, and he'll basically win the game because Yoda is going to stand still and he just shoots Yoda and he dies. So I rolled 6 and blocked 4, so that was average, which was great. Great feeling. So courage roll on Yoda. I end up cheating here and saying I actually don't want to go with Yoda. Because it's actually super troll. Because what I actually wanted to do was uh, I actually wanted to oh no, yeah, sorry. I wanted to actually guidance with Chewbacca, right? Move him around this thing, and I have to do that turn at the end of the turn. So I ended up just calculating the odds on Yoda, um, and giving him a dodge because I want him to go last. So he ends up not being able to see Yoda. Is that partially because I kind of did technically move him? Maybe, but I don't think it was significant enough. I just don't think he can see Yoda. his general marquee could already barely see him. I don't think this guy could have, even if he was in the original position. Um, but yeah, it is a little scummy what I did, but he said it was fine. Uh, I end up, since Yoda has 2 suppression, I ended up only rolling 1 because I already rallied, didn't get it off. And while suppression doesn't, this the suppression on Yoda never comes into play because he's Courage 4, so he ends up at one point having a lot of suppression, but I just roll it. He ends up just aim shooting the commandos instead of moving. Okay, so pretty good roll to go to cover. I'll shield 1. They're in range 1 of the commander token, just barely. So shield 1. They have a dodge on them, and then I'm going to spend Yoda's dodge because he's out of activations. So it's going to go down to 3. And we'll take 1, which is great because armor. But now that commando squad is on 1 wound. So Yoda, he had 2 suppression, only rallied 1 because I just feel a little scummy. Guidance Chewbacca, do this move. This is a gigantic move, being able to just ignore this terrain. And so just double checking, make sure I'm range 1 of Yoda. And then that's the end of the turn. Obviously playing Chewbacca 2-pip. I would include parts of my audio here, like, because I did record our audio in game, but I accidentally did not put the microphone on OBS, so kind of stinks that I can't record audio. I also have to be really quiet because 24-hour quiet hours for my dorm, so sucks. Finals week. Wish me luck. So he ends up playing a 1-pip. It's basically the overrun, but just better, or reckless driver. Right now, having a brief discussion about if this gives me cover. The little green leaves, we end up saying it doesn't. But he ends up using the blast weapon anyways because he realizes Yoda has a suppression. Here, he actually should have been shooting Chewbacca. Because like I said before, Chewbacca, the 2-pip, if he shoots Chewie, Yoda can't move, and I'm fucked, and GG. But because he shoots Yoda, I know I'm gonna be fine. So, very big attack pool on Yoda. See what happens. And not a very good roll. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for me. And just end up guarding 2 on Chewie. And then taking 1 on Yoda, which I block. So now we're just going to double move, place Yoda in base contact with Chewie. And now we're permanently in melee for the rest of the game. And at this point, things are looking really good for me and really bad for him. So I ended up rolling melee, huge. So in hindsight 50/50, I don't think I should have done this attack. I just think I should keep it at a 4-man. At least I should not have pierced. Doing 1 wound is fine. But that's it. So here, I kind of changed my mind. If I put Yoda here, he can get fenced by the ATST. So I end up switching it around to have them basing the other way, or Yoda basing the other. Yeah, because I don't want the 4 red on Yoda. No, thank you. I'd rather the 4 black. But he doesn't. This guy, while he's not a newer player, I think he's a little inexperienced against Yoda, especially Chewbacca, 2-pip Yoda. Completely different beast. But he decides to go with specialists or special forces here, his scout troopers. He ends up back a scout, which is big misplay in my book, in my opinion, because it gives him and makes him miss out on uh, denying me or allowing him to not be in melee with me any longer. So you're gonna see it here. He's a little confused. He's like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Do this. Now it's my go. I go with Yoda. Get 3 suppression. Can't panic. He's Courage 4. I don't realize this. I'm like, oh shoot. I kind of want 2 actions. Okay, rally 2 anyways. Good luck, guy. So now I'm deciding if I want to force wave the core that are on the objective or the scout troopers. I end up doing scout troopers, just because uh, there's not much point in doing either. But I just want to do an attack, and I think scouts are little easier for Yoda to kill, but the rest of my army can't. And maybe I can pick off the Stormies, but it really doesn't matter. It just depends on who I want the 2 suppression on, really. But also, I think I can just one-shot the those guys more. And I don't actually have that aim out on the board from Yoda being attacked because I used it with Chewbacca for lethal 1. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna use Force Push on your scouts right there. Either way. So I'm just gonna do the cohering how I want, because I can do it right now. So I'm just placing his models and mine. So I'm gonna do my move with Chewbacca, deciding where I want my Yoda. And I end up actually throwing Chewbacca on the other side, just because I want to be closer to the Vaps. So this is what I settle on. He can't move this ATST right here is kind of stuck there for the rest of the game because they can't move through those people in melee, which really stinks for him. And he also can't move into contact with Yoda because he'll end on one of his troopers' bases, which he just can't do. So skipping ahead, he's kind of thinking. I think he thinks he has a couple more plays, but does have his disengage card, but I don't think it really matters because Yoda has burst of speed. I decide actually I want to do this with a move. Again, a little cheeky for me, but I don't want those stormtroopers up top to base Yoda because Yoda only has he's at 2 wounds, but he only has 9 more effective wounds left because he was shot 6 times, or he's rolled 6 dice. So but there's not much hope for him left because as soon as I get these scouts over here on the VAP, as soon as I next turn force push, cohere somebody right here, base them with Yoda, all 3 have to surround him. They're permanently engaged with Yoda. And they can't kill Yoda in time, not with 3 black dice, not surging. It's possible, but it's not worth playing out because the odds are so low. I also have things coming up like Luminous. Next turn, I'm definitely playing There Is No Try, just because I get the free dodge and I also have Burst of Speed. But there's just no chance he kills me by turn 6. And also, I can just play Size Matters Not turn 6 and just double tap his VAP and win the game that way too. So he ends up just healing. Not much more happens. That's super important. I do some nice shots. But game at this point is pretty much already over because Yoda is in. I have a clear line of sight to get to his VAP, but he does have a few tricks. Like I said, he has his disengage card, and that game is definitely not over while he still has disengage. There's some cheeky stuff you can do, but I think he plays it pretty poorly. I'm also not sure if ground vehicles like the ATSD can take standbys. I'm pretty sure you have to be hover ground. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep skipping ahead because I'm pretty sure this game is pretty much over. I'm just gonna show you his misplay with his disengage card. He decides he should just get out of dodge, but I don't think he doesn't realize that I'm just never gonna kill this scout trooper unit, and I'm just gonna be engaged with him for the rest of the game. There's literally nothing he can do. At this point, he thinks the disengage card's gonna do something, but I'll tell you what I should think he could have done. But even then, it wouldn't do anything for him. So just keep skipping ahead. He decides to try and rush his ATSTs like desperation. There's just nothing he can do. I end up trying to just shoot with my raw dog weapons for the commandos into the ATST, but it's a really spicy hit. I think this all just goes on to, yep, I'm just going to pop these guys' armor. They take 1 wound. It's so great. It's such a great feeling, taking 1 wound after having to roll all those defensive dice. At this point, again, I'm just inting my units, try and get some more shots, force him to not be able to shoot Yoda, because I'm just going to threat overload him at this point. Which again is something I don't think you can do with Barks, because I don't think you can play this list this slow if you have Barks, so I think Commandos are just much better. Good roll, 3 crits, critical, huge defensive save. And I do it again, completely blank out. R2, again, I'm just preparing him to do the secret mission rush, because while I can do both, I don't have to do just one plan. But I'm like, I have another turn, I can do it, I can wait. So I play Size Matters Not, he plays his disengage card. Pop the HQ uplink, I end up throwing it over to this core. Or I just keep it on the core, actually. I don't end up throwing it anywhere. So what he ends up doing is really, really bad in my opinion. So what I would have done is I would have moved all my core up, everyone who's eligible to take standbys, and I would have just waited for Yoda. So he ends up going with the Scout Trooper unit first, which is just not a good play. He should have taken standbys with all of his core, then disengaged, which is just a move twice. But at that point, I just take a standby with Yoda. Uh, like, there's nothing he can do at this point in the game to win. Because he's doing this first because he just has to. There's keep it a buck with you. There's nothing you can do to win in this position. So the only thing I think you can do, and you have to rely on me making a mistake, is all of these units need to move up, take standbys, all of them, right? All I need to do is go with Yoda, pop burst of speed, take a standby. Let me just quickly see if that's actually the right play. Uh, I just need to see if this is treat. Let's start over. Okay, yeah, I just pop burst of speed and take a standby, and he can't disengage anymore. And he just loses the game because of like he also moves towards the objective, which is great for me, but he ends up just moving back and taking a shot at Yoda. I would have probably double moved, just to clear as much distance, but really does not matter. I'm really trying to push this and reiterate it, but at this point he's lost. Because he double moves, does nothing. By the way, just do that because all I need to do is move once with speed 3 with burst, force push, and then here a model as close to Yoda as possible. Basically, getting 2 speed 1 moves out of it for distance, and then just base the objective with them in me. Like it's just there's nothing he could do, unfortunately. Um, and yeah, I go with Yoda here. His roll is pitiful. I just dodge. He literally had 1 hit. I don't even have to pop burst of speed. I end up just moving. I have relentless this turn, so move. I'm in his rear arc, so I get the impact. I shoot. I fire support. End up getting 3 or 4 crits. I think it's 4 with the impact. So 7 black. I have an aim because I was attacked. So end up spending the aim. Great aim. So it's going to be 4 crits, 1 for impact because of the rear. Huge. He's now at 10 wounds, so he's 1 away from dying. And then I go here. There's a little gap here. I'm not in melee, so I'm just going to swing with just Yoda and end up killing him. There was just a little gap. Pitiful roll. 1 crit. Did we kill him? And that's GG. So he resigns here. I basically go into detail about what I could have been doing, like how I win the game, because right now it's turn 4, I believe. I just need to play Luminous next turn, so I can't die, and then I play Size Matters Not and just double touch the objective, and GG. I win because it's gonna be 2-1 Vaps, Big Sim Connor taking the fat dub. But he resigns at this point. But hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure to tell me if you like this. Uh, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the flip side. If you want to play me, my Discord is Big Sim Connor, and I'd love to play y'all. So, all right, bye bye.